Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Psych here, and today I'm going to teach you guys a special counter that not a lot of people know about against Photographer. Now, if you guys know anything about a Photographer, you will know that every single time you play against him, he loves to surprise attack you. You'll be doing a Cipher machine, and out of nowhere, bam, he comes out of the photo world and he just terror shocks you, or at least gets a good hit in, and you don't want to be giving those free hits in. Now, there are some ways to counter this, like you could go in the camera world, and that way when you get a heartbeat, you know he's coming because he's in the camera world with you. But there is the problem that what if he's coming at you from the real world and he can literally see you in the photo world and he knows you're there and he's coming after you. He's going to surprise you just in the other direction from the real world to the photo world. So to prevent that from happening, I have devised a secret trick that not a lot of people I have seen talk about. In fact, I've seen no one talk about this, and that is the fact that you can use the photographer's build against him to figure out where he is in the photo world. I am talking about the trait deteriorate. Deteriorate is something that every single photographer is going to run. Why? Because every single photographer needs to have faster palette breaking. So in order to run faster palette breaking, you need to run deteriorate. Now, deteriorate reduces your decode speed, healing speed, blah, blah, blah. The point is, if you are injured, you have this trait. But here's the thing. Photographer can only apply debuffs to you, and I guess suppose buffs, if there were to be such a hunter, if he is in the same world as you. It says right there in the book, he can only apply debuffs to those who are in the same world, meaning that when he goes in the camera world and you are in the real world, you will notice deteriorate actually disappears in the top left. Now that's nice and all. You do decode 5% faster now than before, but more importantly, you can use that to figure out that the photo is in a different world than you. Meaning that if you were to go into the camera world with him, the debuff would come back and boom, you know you're in the same world as the photographer and that you're not going to get surprised by him anymore. Every single time he goes into a different world, you can do the same thing and go in the same world with him so that he's never able to surprise you by going in the opposite world and then coming out of it so that he can just get a free hit on you. Now, for those of you wondering, why does this even matter? Why don't you just always see in the camera world? And the problem with that is super keen photographer players, what they will do is they actually can see the Cipher shaking the camera world. I'm not sure if people know about this, but photographers can see that the photo world ciphers are shaking. The photo versions of yourselves will not shake the Cipher. Only real versions of them will shake. That's how they know that someone is doing the Cipher there. And so, therefore, they could just go into the real world and surprise you that way and just go out from the real world into the camera world. However, this will not work if the Cipher is below 17%. So keep that in mind. It will not shake if the Cipher is below 17%. That being said, you do need to remember that the photo world just copies the real world, so usually it will be above 17%. However, you can actually always counter this by looking in the top left. Do you see deteriorate? Yes, then that means he's in the same world as you. If not, then beware because he might be sneaking up on you. You can figure that out if you just go in the opposite world and see if you get a heartbeat. Simple as that. Now, do keep in mind that there are some tricks the photographer can do. He could just switch worlds after seeing that Cipher shaking and try to teleport on you. If you see that happen and the photo world's about to run out, you may as well just run away from the Cipher in case he's doing that. Some photographers do like to do that teleport trick. So just so that you guys are aware. One more thing though, by the way, for people who are super keen on how to play photographer, you will also know that most photographers will run Berserker just to increase his recovery so that people do not rebound off of his chairs. But in order to run Berserker, you need to run Panic. And so some of you guys will be wondering, wait a minute, Panic also triggers when there's an injured survivor, and it goes on all survivors. So doesn't that mean that all survivors can use this to their advantage? And I tested this out with Tato, and unfortunately, no, you cannot do this with Panic. Panic always triggers no matter which world the photographer is in. Only injured people can see which world the photographer is in. So this does not work on non-injured people. Panic will always activate. Furthermore, I tested this with Mechanic just to figure this out if this is true across different survivors. Mechanic is another survivor where she will decode slower if other people are injured, just like Panic, where Panic affects all survivors if one is injured. And yes, it's the exact same way. Mechanic will still decode slower even if the injured survivors are in the real world and you're in the camera. For whatever reason, I'm not sure why, even though it says everyone should be in a different, who's in a different world should not apply their debuffs, but I suppose it has to do with just Daunter and the survivors are always linked together. So there you guys have it. That is how you counter Photographer so that you will always know where he's coming from. Thank you again, Tato, for helping me make this video like a year ago or something like that. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to join my Discord and tune into streams every Mondays and Thursdays where you will see me live helping you to improve at the game as Survivor, and also some Hunter tips every once in a while. That being said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all later. Take care. This has been Psyche.